Now that we've talked about why brands and individuals share on social media, let's talk about the two different types of content on social media. The first of which is selfish content. Now, unfortunately, this is what the majority of content looks like on social media. Something like this. Joe, you are amazing. That campaign you did, just wow. I mean, you are my hero. Okay, you get the idea. Now, who is that content for? Is it for the individual or is it for the specific audience? In that case, it's very much for that specific individual. It's very selfish content. On the other hand, we have what is called selfless content. Now, if that is for that specific person posting it, then selfless content is for a specific audience. And this is what we want to be focusing on, and I'll share some examples here in a little bit. So once again, that's the difference between selfish and selfless content. Go through your feed right now, or in a little bit, and see very quickly the difference between selfish and selfless content. And always remember that at the end of the day, who are you constantly thinking about? You. It's the same with every person on earth. At the end of the day, we are thinking about ourselves the majority of the time. So keep that in mind when you're pushing out content. And let's go ahead and look at some examples. So let's look at this first one and let me know if you think that this is selfish or selfless content. I'll give you a moment to take a look. Alright, if you said that this is selfish content, you'd be right. Once again, what is it for the audience? It doesn't really say, it just says check out our booth. It's the equivalent of me standing outside of a store saying come on into our store. What is there of value to you? Why would you actually come into my store or check out my webinar? There's not much leading in there, right? So for me, this qualifies as selfish content. Nothing against this specific brand. I think it's just, once again, the nature of the beast on social media. So let's look at another example. All right, in this example, this individual is sharing some advice, some tips for people who are content creators, who create podcasts, and says, look, you can turn one piece of content into 20 pieces of content, and here's an example of what that looks like. And then in the subsequent slides, he has a breakdown of what that looks like. Now, once again, is this selfish or is this selfless content? I would say it's selfless content because the goal here is to educate a specific audience about a particular challenge they're having. So once again, when you are posting, if you think of only one thing when you're posting, before you hit that post button, make sure you're asking yourself, is this selfish or selfless content? Now, caveat here is you can have a mix, but I always skew towards an 80-20. So 80% selfless content for the audience, 20% selfish content. So you can still post, your promotions about your product and services, but you don't want that to be majority of your content like most brands are doing. So stay tuned. We have more examples and more tips on how you can create selfless content. Thanks so much.